We all use these amazing devices, phones, cars, packed with tech.
Yeah.
But underneath all that, there's this whole hidden world of manufacturing.
Right. And a huge part of it, something most people wouldn't even consider, is just keeping things clean. Extremely clean.
Exactly. So today we're diving deep into a specific part of that, the semiconductor wafer cleaning equipment market.
Yeah, we've got this detailed market report from 2025. It's kind of our guide for this.
And our mission really is to pull out the key stuff. What's the market size now? How much is it expected to grow? What's driving it all?
Basically giving you the fast track to understanding a really crucial piece of the whole global electronics puzzle.
And the numbers are pretty big right off the bat. For 2025, the global market for this cleaning equipment is projected at USD 837.4 million, almost $10 billion.
But that's just the start. By 2033, the forecast jumps to USD 551.84 million. That's more than double.
Wow, so serious growth ahead.
Absolutely. And just so you know, all this info comes from that comprehensive market research report, data, analysis, company stuff, the works.
Okay, let's talk about that growth. A compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 10.3% between 2025 and 2033. That's pretty impressive.
It really is. And the main thing fueling it, it's our constant demand for electronics that are smaller, faster, more powerful.
Right. Your phone keeps getting thinner but does more.
Exactly. And that push for miniaturization and high performance, it means the manufacturing has to be unbelievably clean. Think of building with microscopic Lego. Any tiny dust particle is a disaster.
So yeah, if you want a handle on tech trends, watching this market is actually quite revealing. The report digs into some specific drivers, too.
Definitely. There are big investments going into semiconductor R&D, trying to make the production processes better, more efficient.
Which probably means needing better cleaning, too.
Precisely. New processes often demand new, more advanced cleaning. Then there's the whole electric vehicle boom.
Yeah. EVs are packed with chips.
Totally. Rolling computers, basically. All needing high-end semiconductors, which means more demand for top-notch wafer cleaning, and just generally, quality standards across the board keep rising.
Okay, so that's the why. Let's look at the where. How does this break down geographically? The report says North America is leading in 2025.
Yes, North America is projected to have over 40% of the market share then. That translates to a market size of about USD 852.85 million.
That's a big chunk.
Yeah.
Reflects the history there, I suppose.
Yeah, likely reflects the, deep roots in semiconductor innovation and manufacturing in the U.S. especially. A lot of the groundwork happened there.
Europe, also significant.
Very much so. Over 30% of the global revenue, around USD 2,360.98 million in 2025. Strong industrial base, focus on advanced manufacturing.
But the real acceleration seems to be happening elsewhere, Asia Pacific.
That's the one to watch. They hold around 23% in 2025, which is already substantial, about USD 339.84 million.
Okay, so actually bigger in dollar terms than Europe or North America individually. Wait, no, let me recheck that. North America 2.8, Europe 2.3, APAC 3.6. I see North America had the highest share, over 40%. APAC is the biggest single region by value in 2025. Got it.
Right. My mistake on the share dominance earlier. You're correct on the values. North America leads in share, APAC leads in value for 2025. But the key thing for APAC is its projected CAGR 12.2% through 2033. That's the fastest growth by quite a margin.
Driven by manufacturing hubs there.
Exactly. Countries like China, India, South Korea, Taiwan, massive semiconductor activity driving that growth.
And we shouldn't forget the rest of the world, right? South America, Middle East, Africa.
Absolutely. They're smaller pieces of the pie currently, but still part of the picture. South America's projected over 5% share in 2025, about USD 373.82 million.
Okay.
Middle East around 2%, that's USD 393.50 million.
Yeah.
And Africa about 1%, USD 216.42 million. They're all expected to grow too.
It's interesting to zoom in even further. The report gives country specifics, like for the U.S. market.
Yeah, the U.S. alone is estimated at USD 22,450.90 million for 2025. Still growing solidly, but interestingly, within North America, Canada shows up as the fastest growing, with a 9.5% projected CAGR.
Huh, interesting. What about in Europe? Germany's usually a big player.
It is here too. Germany leads Europe with about USD 467.47 million in 2025, growing well. The UK is also strong, around USD 396.64 million, and has a notable CAGR projected at 9.9%.
Okay. And turning to Asia Pacific, China must be huge.
Dominant, yeah. Largest share in APAC, USD 128.73 million in 2025, growing fast. But look at India, projected CAGR of 14.1%. That's a significant potential. Any quick mentions for the other regions?
Sure. Brazil leads in South America, projected at USD 160.00 million. Qatar is the frontrunner in the Middle East at USD 31.48 million. And Nigeria is highlighted for growing activity in Africa. It really shows how global this market is becoming.
Okay, great overview of the geography and scale. Let's switch gears to the actual, tools, the equipment and the technologies they use for this cleaning. Right, so the report breaks down equipment types. Currently, manual wet batch systems have a big share.
Manual batch.
Yeah.
Like dipping multiple wafers at once.
Sort of, yeah. Multiple wafers cleaned together in chemical baths. It's often more hands-on, less automated. The upside is usually a lower initial cost.
So good for smaller operations or specific tasks, maybe.
Exactly. Cost-effective for lower volumes. But there's another type that's really taking off.
Which is?
Rotary wafer etching systems. These are flagged as the fastest growing type.
Why the fast growth there?
Because advanced semiconductors need incredibly uniform cleaning and they need it done quickly, high throughput. These rotary systems, picture something spinning the wafer precisely, they offer that consistency and speed.
Okay. And the core cleaning methods, the underlying tech.
The biggest segment by technology. Contaminants without damaging the wafer.
Tried and true, sounds like.
Very much so. It's effective and versatile, but there's a lot of movement in other areas too.
Like what?
Like etch cleaning technology. This is growing rapidly. It's specifically designed to remove the residues left after the etching process. That's where they carve the tiny patterns onto the wafer.
Crucial for the really small, complex chips.
Absolutely. Especially for things like 3D chip designs, you need super precise cleaning there. The report also mentions front-side up cleaning as another category.
Okay, so we know the tools, the tech. What are they actually cleaning off the wafers? What's the main enemy?
Contamination, broadly speaking. But the big one is particle contamination.
Just dust.
Well, yes, but on a microscopic scale, particles you can't even see. Even one of those in the wrong spot can cause a defect, potentially killing the whole chip. So removing them is paramount.
Makes sense. But is there a type of contamination that's becoming more of a focus?
Yes, metallic contamination. The report identifies this as the fastest growing segment in terms of focus.
Why metals specifically?
As chips get more advanced, they require ultra-pure silicon wafers. Even tiny trace amounts of metal ions, copper, iron, whatever, can mess with the electrical properties. They can ruin performance and reliability.
So as purity needs go up, the focus on eliminating even trace metals intensifies.
Exactly. Chemical contamination, like leftover cleaning agents, is also a concern. But the impact of metals on the most advanced devices is driving that specific growth.
Right. So we've got the size, the regions, the tools, the targets. Let's pull back a bit to the overall market dynamics.
Yeah.
Drivers, restraints, trends. We touched on drivers already.
Yeah, the big ones are that R&D investment, the EV market demand, and just the constant push for higher quality and yield in manufacturing. They all feed into each other.
Are there any roadblocks? Things holding the market back?
The main restraint mentioned is the high initial cost of the really advanced equipment. These machines are complex and expensive.
So a barrier for smaller companies, maybe.
It can be, yeah, slowing down an option of the absolute cutting edge for some players.
But despite that cost, trends are pushing things forward. What's emerging?
One big trend is the move towards single wafer cleaning systems.
Instead of batches, doing one wafer at a time.
Exactly. It gives you much finer control and precision, which is becoming critical as chip designs get more complex and features shrink down to nanometers.
Makes sense. More control needed for trickier jobs.
Right. And also, we're seeing more hybrid cleaning technologies, systems that might combine, say, a chemical clean with a physical or plasma-based method to get the best of both worlds for a specific step.
And the chips themselves are driving change, too. You mentioned 3D.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Building chips upwards, in layers, creates new cleaning challenges. Getting cleaning solutions into those tiny vertical structures requires innovation. Plus, think about semiconductors going into more industrial automation.
Okay.
Those applications often demand extreme reliability in harsh conditions, so the underlying chip quality and thus the cleaning becomes even more critical.
It sounds like companies can't just develop this tech in isolation. Partnerships must be key.
Hugely important. Close collaboration between the equipment makers, like Lam Research or Applied Materials, and the semiconductor manufacturers, the foundries, is essential.
To tailor the solutions.
Yeah, to develop cleaning processes optimized for specific, often brand new manufacturing steps. The report mentions Lam Research's Dextro Cobot, for example, that's a robot for maintenance inside the clean room, showing that level of integration.
And things like Infineon making ultra-thin wafers.
Mm.
That must demand specialized cleaning, too.
For sure. Handling and cleaning incredibly delicate materials like that requires very specific, advanced techniques.
Okay, let's touch briefly on the competitive side. Who are the big names?
It's a competitive space, as you'd expect. The leaders are constantly innovating, forming strategic partnerships. The report lists companies like Screen Holdings, Tokyo Electron, Lam Research, Applied Materials, several major global players.
And the market isn't static, right? There's M&A activity, collaborations.
Yeah, things are happening. The report mentions ZMC acquiring Pure Wafer to boost their silicon services, and a collaboration between CDIL and Infineon to supply wafers in India. It shows the dynamism, the ongoing investment, and positioning in the market.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, it's really clear this isn't just some niche process, it's fundamental.
Yeah.
What are the main takeaways for listeners?
Well, first, the sheer size and projected growth. This is a major market, heading towards $21.5 billion. Second, the regional picture. North America leads in share now, but Asia-Pacific is the value leader and the fastest growing, especially driven by places like China and India.
Right. And the tech itself.
We saw manual batch systems still hold share, but rotary etching is growing fast. Wet chemistry is dominant, but etch cleaning is gaining rapidly for advanced nodes. And contamination-wise, particles are always key, but metallic contamination is the fastest growing concern due to purity demands.
And it's all driven by miniaturization, EVs, quality needs, but balanced by cost hurdles, with trends towards single wafer, hybrid tech, and lots of collaboration.
Exactly. That sums it up pretty well. Innovation and partnerships are really shaping the future here.
It really is fascinating how these almost invisible steps are completely essential for all the technology we rely on. Really makes you think.
Yeah, and maybe here's something to ponder. If cleaning is this critical now, what breakthroughs in cleaning tech might be needed next? What new methods will unlock the next generation of devices, things maybe we can't even properly imagine today? Think about the ripple effect of this one specialized industry on everything else.